Engel vs. Vitale. In 1951, in New York, the State Board of Regents authorized a short prayer for children to recite at the start of each school day, along with the Pledge of Allegiance that read, "Almighty God, we acknowledge our dependence on Thee and beg Thy blessings upon us, our parents, our teachers, and our country." However, this prayer was voluntary for students. Even though this was voluntary, those who opted out risked being ostracized by their peers for following a different religion or no religion at all. School leaders also conducted the prayer in a Christian way by bowing their heads and pressing their palms together. In 1958, in Hyde Park, Long Island, the Herrick School Board decided for its students to say the prayer. However, it was voluntary as well, and they could opt out with their parents' signature. A group of parents believed that this went against their religious beliefs. Therefore, 5 of the parents that had children in the district that consisted of Stephen L. Engel, and 3 of whom were Jewish, sued William Vitale, who was the president of the school board. They argued that the school-sponsored prayer violated the Establishment Clause and the freedom of religion of the First Amendment. The Establishment Clause prohibits the government from making any law that is in regard to an establishment of religion. The clause not only bans the government to establish an official religion, but also doesn't allow government action that unduly favors one religion over another. It also stops the government from unduly preferring religion over non-religion, or the other way around. However, with this lawsuit, the children of these 5 parents were taunted, and Engel and the other parents received threatening phone calls and letters. Vitale and the school board said that they did not establish one religion with prayer, nor did they force students to say the prayer. Engel and the other parents did not have any success in the state court system. They were rejected by the Supreme Court of New York. 2 years later, they lost to the Court of Appeals of New York as well. After all these failures, they appealed to the Supreme Court of the United States. It was argued on April 3, 1962. The court was composed of 9 justices: Hugo L. Black, Felix Frankfurter, William O. Douglas, Tom C. Clark, John M. Harlan, William J. Brennan, Porter Stewart, Brian R. White, and Earl Warren, who was the Chief Justice. 4 of the justices were liberal, 3 conservative, 1 neither or mix, and 1 moderate. The court ruled 6-1 in Engel's favor. The 2 that did not vote were Felix Frankfurter and Brian R. White. The constitutional question basically said, was the prayer that was enforced at the start of a school day, such as the one in New York, which is non-denominational, violated the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment? The majority ruled that the school-sponsored prayer violated the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment. Justice Black wrote the majority opinion, and it basically said that even though students were allowed to absent themselves from this activity, it did not make it constitutional because the purpose of the First Amendment was to prevent government interference with religion. The majority also noted that religion is very important to many Americans, and since they adhere to a wide variety of beliefs, it is not appropriate for government to endorse any particular belief system. The ruling was judicial activism because the justices went with their personal/political consideration rather than with the existing law. The dissenting opinion was made by Justice Porter Stewart, who believed the Establishment Clause was designed to ban the establishment of state-sponsored church and forbid all types of government involvement with religion. Particularly, he believed that prayer, which was non-denominational, and the absentee provision removed constitutional challenges. The president during this time was John F. Kennedy. Kennedy supported the ban on prayer in schools, saying that even though we might disagree with the Supreme Court, we should respect their decision. A very easy solution that Kennedy suggested was to pray for ourselves. He also suggested every American family should pray more at home, attend churches with more faithfulness, and make the true meaning of prayer more important to children. He hopes that American parents will increase their efforts to pray at home, while others should support the Constitution and the responsibilities of the Supreme Court of the United States in interpreting it, which is a power given to them by the Constitution. Overall, the lasting effect of the case was that public schools and the government cannot sponsor religious activities. This was also the first case to do so. This court ruling is right, because the course truly violated the Establishment Clause since New York had officially approved religion due to the non-denominational prayers being enforced in schools, and the First Amendment strictly prevents government interference with religion. This is why the Supreme Court made the right decision. Questions. What constitutional clause was questioned in Engel versus Vitale? A. The Establishment Clause. B. Equal Protection Clause. C. Free Exercise Clause. Who was the president during this time? A. Franklin D. Roosevelt. B. Richard Nixon. C. John F. Kennedy. What was the lasting effect of the case? A. Violated the Establishment Clause. B. Public schools and the government cannot sponsor religious activities. C. Violated the Equal Protection Clause.